Here's my Love That feature of Logos Bible study software for today. What I'm going to show you today is layouts, or how I use layouts. I'm going to open my preferred Bible, the King James Version, for instance. Open the King James Version, and I'm just going to drag it over to the left side as a starting point. Let's say, for instance, I want to add a commentary to read alongside the King James Version. What I'm going to do is click my plus button here, and I'm going to open up the Faith Life Study Bible. I'm going to drag that over to the right. So now we have the King James Version and we have the Faith Life Study Bible. I want to open a third resource. So let's open Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. Treasury of Scripture Knowledge is primarily a cross-reference resource. And as you hover over this blue text, it highlights or gives you a drop-down of that particular verse or verses of Scripture that corresponds to your active verse of Scripture and to your left in your active Bible. Now, I want to link those sets or link those resources so that as I scroll, each one of those resources will scroll along with me as I go from verse to verse in the Bible. How I'll do that is I'll open my panel menu and I will click Link Set A for my King James Version. I'll go to my Faith Life Study Bible and I'll do the same thing. I'll choose Link Set A. I'll go to my Treasury of Scripture Knowledge and I'll choose Link Set A. So now all of these resources are linked together and they will scroll simultaneously. And let me just show you how that works. Okay, let's say for instance I want to have 3 windows open so that I can see all of these windows, all 3 of these windows at the same time. So I'm going to just choose my Faith Life Study Bible and I'm going to drag it down a little bit. And you can, as you see the dark highlight, what that will do is that will now open up a third window. So we have a third window with the Faith Life Study Bible, the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge, and the King James Version. And I can adjust those windows at will just simply by dragging them. So now all of these resources are synchronized. So when I go to my King James Version and I scroll, you notice that my resources scroll along with me, verse by verse. So let's say that I want to view one of the cross references for Hebrews 12 and 10. And one of the corresponding or cross references is Ezekiel 36, 25 through 27. When I click on that, it's going to open up an entirely new version. Most likely it's going to open up my most used version or translation of the Bible, which is the English Standard Version. So when I click on that, it opens up the English Standard Version to that cross-reference, Ezekiel 36, 25 through 27. Okay, now here's so I want to make that an individual window as well. So let's do it this way. We'll make that the English Standard Version and it shows on the left-hand side. Well, I'm going back to my King James Version and I'm going to scroll, and as I scroll, you'll see that all of my resources, with the exception of the English Standard Version, still scrolls simultaneously. Okay, but so as I go from scripture to scripture or verse to verse, and my resource or my treasury of scripture knowledge changes, and I want to study or read another cross-reference, say for instance John 3 and 6, I click on John 3 and 6, and that resource or that cross-reference opens up in my English Standard Version. So as I continue to read and as I continue to study in my active resource or my main Bible, all of these resources change, but this one stays the same and is used specifically for my cross references. Again, let's just do Galatians 5, okay, and 23. It brings me right there. So that's how that works. So now, what I want to do now is I want to save this particular layout to be used at another time. I like the way I've done this. I like the way this is laid out, and I want to use it again. So what I'll do now is I'll go over to my Layouts tab, and I'll save this as a named layout, okay? And I'll say KJV Faith Life Study Bible, Treasury of Scripture Knowledge, and cross-reference window. Okay, so as I save that now, that layout is now saved here. King James Version, Faith Life Study Bible, Treasury of Scripture Knowledge, and my cross-reference window. Okay, so let's just say, for instance, now I close out the software, or let's just erase all of these windows or close all of these windows out. Okay, and I go back to my Layouts tab, click on my Layouts tab, and here's that layout that I saved. So if I click on that layout, now it brings it back up just like I left it. So I can always go back to this particular layout to study in this manner if I'd like. So that's today's feature. Love that feature from Logos Bible Software.